what's up, my friend? Are you a small business owner that loves God, family, country, and capitalism? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the War Plan Briefing. Today's a special video. I think you're going to like this one. I'm going to teach you how to build a 7-figure service business in 12 months. And that sounds crazy. Josh, that's impossible. Well, no, it's not impossible. Before I give you the steps, there's 7 different components to this. I want to tell you something, okay? I've helped over 100 people become millionaires with a service business. I don't say this a lot, it sounds kind of douchey, but it's true, right? The thing is these people that I've helped, they're winners, right? I help them go faster. I help shortcut stuff for them. I help them avoid pitfalls and pain, and that's very valuable, right? And they're very thankful that, you know, I was able to do that. But these people would have succeeded eventually on their own anyway, because winners win. You know, information like what I'm about to share, it helps someone who's actually hungry go faster. And that's my goal for this video. It's my goal for you. But what's interesting is that the mass of people in the world that are interested in entrepreneurship, what they think they want is the $1 million business, the 2 Comma Club award. You know, I actually have a 2 Comma Club award. I could have had like 6 of them. I don't even apply for them because it feels weird to get it because of the truth I'm about to share with you right now. Here's the deal. Your life is not going to fundamentally change when you hit $1 million. Like at all, okay? Now, it's nice to have extra money. I'm not saying that's bad. I want you to have that. The problem is that no one literally ever believes me when I say that. And I get it, because I didn't believe it when people told it to me. And if you already have a multi-million-dollar business, you know, you're nodding your head right now. You're like, yep, yeah, I get it. Because there's just new types of challenges, new types of problems. You'll always find a reason to be stressed out. Be happy right now. Happiness is a choice. It's a way you frame how you look at your circumstance. Happiness is detaching yourself from this goal of making $1 million and being happy in the journey. My wife always says there's joy in the journey. Look, if you're broke, you don't give a crap about everything I just said. I get it. I'm going to help you, and we're going to make some money. And if you follow these steps, you will make a bunch of money, but you got to do it. You got to have grit. You got to put in the work. You got to actually do it for real. Only you know if you're doing everything you can do. Okay? You don't have to be perfect. You can have a bad day. You can have a bad week, maybe, but you got to get back on the horse and ride that sucker. Let's get into it. You ready? The first thing you need to do is you need to call your shot publicly, privately, and make a real decision. It's not something you try to do, it's something you actually do. You got to understand the word decide means to cut off all other options. You're going to have to focus. And that's why I say calling your shot publicly is useful. Don't do it willy-nilly. Don't do it 2 seconds after watching this video. But if you're really serious and you're not going to try it out, you're going to do it when you're committed to the outcome, when you've burned the boats. That is the environment in which you make a real decision. You see, people always want to make perfect decisions. That shouldn't even be your goal. The goal is not to make perfect decisions. The goal is to make a decision. You need decision volume. You need more quantity of imperfect decisions so you can learn how to make better decisions. Do you think you're going to be better off if you make 3 great decisions a year, or if you make 263 decisions in a year and 50% of them were not that good and 25% of them were like, questionable, but the rest were pretty good, right? You get further ahead by making decisions, being decisive. And if you are small in terms of entrepreneurially, if you're a small business and you're broke and you're stuck and you've never had major success, you're probably involved in too many things. There's no focus. You haven't really committed to something. You haven't made a real decision. So step 1, my first encouragement is do that first. The second thing you're going to need to do is reverse engineer and know your numbers. Now, I have good news. You don't have to have a mathematics degree from Yale to do this, but you have to understand your numbers. Math is the path. A business is a collection of systems and people in numbers. That's like what it is. That's what every company is. One of the biggest reasons people don't make a lot of money and they don't grow fast enough is they do not understand the economics of their business like at all. They just kind of shoot from the hip, and you can make a living doing that, but you're not going to make $1 million in 12 months if you don't understand your numbers. It's a requirement. All of the high achievers that I know, that I have the privilege of knowing, they know their numbers, baby. They know their numbers, baby. They got them memorized. I can call Tommy Mello on the phone right now. I don't know how big his company is now. It's almost $1 billion. He'll be a billionaire. He's in the garage door industry, right? And he's a maniac. But if I called that guy right now, maybe I should actually do. I won't do it, but in the future, I'll have him on this YouTube channel. He would tell me his CPL and his CAC and his max CAC and his LTV and his close rate and his gross margin versus net margin. He would understand the cap table of his corporate thing. Like there's a limit. There's tons of things you should know. If you just want to make $1 million, not a big deal. You got to understand the numbers. $1 million isn't as big of a number as it seems like. It's 1,000 1,000s, okay? If you have a $1,000 thing for sale and you sell it 1,000 times, congratulations, you've collected $1 million in revenue. If you have a $10,000 thing, you only have to sell 100 of them. If you have a $100 thing, you have to sell 10,000 of them. Depending on what service business you're gonna do, figure out what your average ticket price will be for your thing and figure out how many people need to buy that thing in the time horizon for you to hit the $1 million. You have to reverse engineer the plan. But it's not just knowing the numbers of your plan, although that's critically important. You have to also understand like the capital requirements. Depending on the business that you're in, do you need to buy 1 truck? Do you need to buy 3 trucks? Do you need to hire like 16 people? Do you need 4 computers? How much money do you need for customer acquisition costs? How many dollars do you need to put out there to purchase X amount of brand new shiny customers? Because all the little brand new shiny customers, maybe my editor can put like a stick figure in my hand right here. Like this is my brand new shiny customer. It costs me money to get this thing, to get this guy, right? And I'm going to feed him and pet him and take care of him. And hopefully he goes and gets me some referrals and I don't have to pay for those ones, and you'll get some word of mouth. But to grow this fast, all of a sudden, you're going to be paying to acquire customers. It's going to take a little bit of capital. And if you have no money at all, that's okay. You're going to push pause and make it $1 million. You're going to do something else to get a little bit of capital, and maybe you make $100,000, and then you make 500, and then you make the $1 million. But you got to understand what's required. The Bible says, who would build a house without first counting the cost? I did a business workshop one time. This guy had like a $100,000 business, and he got all inspired and worked up. He was like so pumped, and he believed in all the possibilities of entrepreneurship. And we asked him, so what's your goal now that you're inspired? He said, 2 million. I'm going to do 2 million this year. And in his brain, he didn't understand what he was saying. Like he didn't. And it was kind of my fault because I got him so worked into this like inspirational frenzy that I felt bad and I had to like walk it back. You see, what he wasn't understanding is that if he has a $100,000 business and he's providing a cleaning service and he wants to do 2 million, he needs to buy like 6 trucks or something. He needs to hire 27 people and he has to acquire 3,419 new customers or whatever the numbers were. And so I kind of carefully deconstructed that and I'm like, okay, cool. You want 2 million? Cool. Do you have 463,000 in cash? Because I'm pretty sure we need 463,000 in cash. No, I don't have 463,000. And it was this weird thing. Look, count the cost, know your numbers, reverse engineer it. Numbers aren't scary. They set you free. They provide clarity. Put them on the board, look at them, experiment with them, say, okay, cool, I understand that. Last but not least, you have to understand your capacity and your labor. So if you're gonna sell $1 million worth of stuff, chances are it's not gonna be you doing whatever was for sale for $1 million worth of the stuff, right? If you're you personally as one person are not gonna go clean $1 million worth of windows, probably, but if you do figure out how to do that, let me know, because that would be super dope. You're gonna need employees, and each employee can do X amount of revenue, and so we gotta reverse engineer and figure that out. That's called your capacity. If you've heard the expression 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound sack, that's what people do with their business. They have this huge business plan, but they make no planning at all to like hire more people, expand their equipment and their trucks and stuff. And they don't even have the ability to do $1 million, but yet they're pretending that they have this goal. Capacity and labor and understanding those numbers is a requirement to do this. The third thing you need to do is create an offer, not just have a service for sale. Did you know there's a difference between just selling a product or just selling a service and selling an offer? Ooh, are you interested? Selling an offer is how you make lots of money. If you just say, I will change your brake pads for $100 and everybody else charges $110, okay, that's just you commoditizing yourself. What you really want is to be, the brake pad platinum titanium package of North Dallas guy, and it's $216, and it includes 8 things. Of course, you get the brake pads, but you also get the anti-shock dust repellent overspray, and you can clearly see I know nothing about brake pads. I picked a terrible example, but you have pieces. It's called a stack to create the offer, to separate yourself from the competition. What are you going to have for sale? And how can you make the thing that's for sale sound super sexy, super dope, super interesting? How can you make it feel like oranges in a world full of apples? How can we make it different? How can we make it higher ticket? How can we make it luxurious? How can we make it so that affluent people are happy to pay a little bit more for the stack of things that they get, the extra bonuses, the extra little perks that they get inside of your offer? What's your offer gonna be? Spend a lot of time getting this right, because one good offer could be worth 5 lifetimes of work to you. If you spend time being creative on your offer and how you position the offer, which we'll talk about, it's insane. It's a huge advantage. So if you're in an industry where everybody's more or less doing the same thing, what little things can you do to position your offer differently so that it's a little bit different? It's a little bit weird in a good way. It's funky. It stands out like a sore thumb. How can your offer be a 6'2" guy in a sea of 5'10" inch tall people? That's what we want to do with your offer. Your offer needs to be optimized for profit. It's not just about getting the customer, it's about making profit, which is one of the reasons why setting $1 million goal sort of is a little bit of a flawed way to look at it, because you can make $1 million and spend $1,100,000 in expenses, and that's not very cool, right? People do that all the time. You would be shocked at how many people are totally broke that have $1 million businesses. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to admit it, but they call me privately. They're like, Josh, I'm losing all this money, but I'm making all this money. I'm confused, right? It's because their offer is not optimized for gross margin and profit. What can you add to your offer that has very low incremental cost to you, but provides a whole bunch of perceived value to your customer? How can you sell for higher and higher prices? There's ways to do this stuff, and watch this YouTube channel and I get into it, but there's ways to do it. But we want to optimize for profit. We want to focus on perceived value, and we want to differentiate whatever it is that you have for sale from everybody else selling similar things in your market. The fourth thing is probably my favorite part, is you have to create a marketing message. You have to create a narrative, a story arc. You have to create compelling hooks and angles to get people to pay attention to you. Marketing is like a big deal, especially if you want to grow really, really fast. You know, it's true that you don't have to be an expert marketer to make a living. You don't. You really don't. You have to be honest, have integrity, and do a great job, and you're going to be okay. Like, if you work hard and do a good job, you're never going to be hungry. There's always going to be a market for people like you. But when you want to scale, marketing is non-negotiably, irrefutably, irreplaceably valuable, and you have to figure it out. So now that you have your offer, right, and you understand your numbers, okay, and you've called your shot and you're ready to do this, we have to have a message and a story. And you need to spend a lot of time figuring this out, because depending on what you're selling, what part of the country you're selling it in, what time of year you're selling it in, who the avatar is, there's all these considerations. How are you going to pattern interrupt people? How are you going to hook people? Because marketing is kind of like fishing. And fishing is not just a monolithic thing, meaning you don't just use the same bait in the same area to catch every type of fish. Different fish live in different places, different species, they have different diets, there's seasonality, there's all these things to figure out. And for you, depending on the service you have, we have to start figuring out what type of bait we want. We also have to figure out, how are we going to distribute our message? Where's it going to go? You know, Russell Brunson has a really, really practical rule of thumb. He says you need to have one offer with one message sold through one platform until you hit $1 million. I agree, because it's simple and it's true and it's useful. You don't have to become a YouTuber, TikToker with 17 podcasts who does direct mail and door knocks and does cold calling and does 17 things to be successful. You need one good offer with one clear message, with one distribution or customer acquisition channel. It could be Facebook ads. Sure, fair enough. I know people that have built multi-million-dollar businesses just doing that. Could it be boots in the ground style marketing? 100%. I have two personal friends that built 8-figure businesses in the solar business and in the pest control business, only doing door knocking, but they were so good at the way that they did it. They had mastery over the scripts and the timing and how many feet they stood away from the door. They had figured out that one distribution channel. What will yours be for this project? Is it going to be digital marketing? Is it boots in the ground? You get to pick. It's up to you, but we need to decide. And then last but not least, with your messaging, who are we talking to? Who is your avatar? Who's your perfect customer? Do they have a brick house, a vinyl sided house? Do they have a 5,000 square foot house? Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? Are they a soccer mom? Do they drive minivans? Are they attorneys that drive Porsches? Who are these people? Depending on what you're selling, it's gonna vary. Depending on your market geographically, it can vary. But who are they and where are they? We have to figure that out. It's not rocket science. You could spend an hour and get 85% of the way there after this video is done, if you're really serious about it, and get really, really close. Now that you have all these things in place, the fifth step is to begin to assemble a team. Okay, now as you begin to grow and scale, you're gonna hire as you go. You don't need to hire everybody now, but we gotta have a couple of core true believers. Otherwise, time's gonna get away from you and you're gonna have no chance at hitting $1 million in 12 months. We need an initial team of leaders to start with. And the easiest way to visualize this for the purposes of this video is visualize your company as having 3 departments, okay? It has way more, okay? But think of it, for simplicity's sake, as having sales, service, and then administration. Okay, sales, service, administration. There's phone calls that need to be made. There's payroll that needs to be done. There's scheduling that needs to be clicked on. That's admin. It's administrative, right? Someone needs to order toilet paper for your office. Someone needs to publish your Facebook post or something. There's administrative things, and that person doing that stuff, I don't think it should be you, okay? That shouldn't be you. We're gonna go recruit a true believer to align themselves with you so you can get this huge outcome really fast. And then of course we have the service side, right? The service is the thing that you're selling, delivering on your promise. If you sell cleaning, someone has to go clean, and it can't be you. Not if you want to hit $1 million in 12 months. Not if you want to scale really fast. No, you're not allowed to clean stuff. So before we even launch, we're going to get our first technician, and we're going to have a plan to get the second and third and fourth and seventh technician, and we're going to persuade these people to jump on your gravy train of epicness, because you're going to the moon, baby, and you're going to take a couple people with you. And then of course sales. Now this is where you're going to live. You're going to live in the world of sales and marketing. You're going to be a rainmaker. You're a professional rainmaker. You make it rain money, baby. You're going to take your offer and take your message, put the show on the road, and go out there and advocate for your epicness. You're going to go sell your oranges in the world of apples to everybody that you can, and your core focus is on that. It's on distributing the fact that you exist, that message, the offer to your market, testing and iterating. But you can only do that if you have a team, and you can only have a team if you can cast a vision, if they believe you, if they believe that you're the competent person that can lead them to the promised land. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you got to cast a vision. You got to help them understand what's in it for them, right? What is in it for them? Who do you need around you? Do you have a couple people you could rally the troops? They have a crappy job. Their job sucks. Their boss is dumb. Maybe they can come help you with this venture. If they can, it's going to be way easier. You'll go way faster, and the likelihood of success is going to be a lot higher. And then you'd have to distribute tasks among all these people. Like I said, a very oversimplified way to do it is think of sales as a category or a department on your org chart. Think of service as its own category or department on your org chart, and then administrative stuff. At a minimum, have those people in place before you begin. Yes, you're going to hire as you go, but let's start with that. The sixth step to make $1 million service business in 12 months is my favorite, but it's also the hardest. Are you ready? It's to run. You have to run. You have to begin. You have to go do it. It's going to be a mess. Whenever I have a startup, I tell my team our job is to go from chaos towards slightly less chaos. And then the next week towards slightly less chaos. And it can go on for like a year where it still feels like chaos. Today I was watching a documentary on the origin story of Netflix, and what a crap show of chaos that was. But I'm not surprised, because that's what all new ventures feel like. But you are the fearless leader. You're the person that has to run into the darkness. My definition of commitment is when you run in perpetuity into the darkness with no expectation as to how hard it's going to be and how long it's going to take. It's not easy. It's scary. And what people do is when they get fatigued, they give up. They stop. You can't stop. Not if you're going to do it in 12 months. Now look, it's okay if you do everything I talk about in this video and you make $211,000, 433 whatever and 19 cents. You didn't fail if that happened, right? But you have to run, you have to begin, you have to have massive imperfect action. You have to show up with energy every single day from dark to dark, right? I say strap on your boots and you work from dark to dark. There's no such thing as a Saturday when you're trying to do this. If you have not done this successfully before, there's no such thing as a Saturday for you. You don't get to have balance if you're trying to do an impossible thing other people don't do or can't do or won't do. If this is the path you choose, then you go dark to dark. You leave on the field what is required because it's worth it to you, right? And if it's not, why are you still watching this video? You have to have stamina, marketing stamina, and grit. You have to detach yourself from the outcome and put your blinders on. You have to anticipate and expect discouragement because it's natural and it's going to happen, and for you to deal with it before it happens. And then last but not least, if you want to make $1 million with a service business in 12 months, my last recommendation for you is to iterate and optimize as you go. You got to understand, all the planning you've done, all the numbers you thought you understood, the team that you recruited who are your true believers, all these things could all fall apart. They could change. It's going to move and ebb and flow, and you have to measure and pay attention. You're going to delete some of your original ideas and replace them with new ideas. It's part of the process. Failure is like so important for success because failure is a feedback loop. So when something doesn't work, it tells us something's broken, we analyze it, and we test something else until it hits, then we scale that. And there's so much complexity in any service business that all kinds of stuff is going to be broke or not optimized. There's going to be some rust and some crust on certain pieces of this. One of your original, leaders is going to like abandon you or something. There's no boo-hoo for you. This is just how it works. It's okay. But you got to iterate and optimize as you go. Like I said a minute ago, if you don't hit the $1 million, you still win. Like at the end of the day, you still win, because it's not about the $1 million. Like I said in the beginning of this video, it's about who you become on the journey towards the $1 million. I can promise you one thing. If you did this even for half of a year, you would fundamentally change who you are in most categories of your life. You would permanently up-level your confidence, your certainty, your magnetism, your charisma, your skill sets, your mindsets, and your network would expand. It'd be very difficult for you to give this everything you got and actually lose. And you losing doesn't have anything to do with the $1 million goal you had in the first place. Detach yourself from that outcome. Plan with specific outcomes in mind. Build your team and your plan around all these numbers. But when you're doing the daily work and the grind, let the work be the reward. Let who you become the reward. Because you're going to hit the $1 million at some point, and you're going to realize that guy Josh on the internet, he said it wasn't that big of a deal, and now I know that he's right. Hey, if you're getting value out of these videos, please talk to me. Let's have it be a dialogue, not a monologue. Where are you at? Where are you from? What are you struggling with? What was your favorite part of this? What parts did I miss? Because to be honest, there's a lot of other steps, but rather than make a 16-hour video, I tried to distill it down to some of the core needle moving activities if you wanted to make $1 million in a year. But let me know your thoughts. Did I miss something? Do you agree? What has encouraged and inspired you? And last but not least, can you like, subscribe, and share this with a friend? It would mean a ton to me. Until next time, see you on the next video.